Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Packer Universe podcast. This is the first takeaway with Tay and Ren. Monday Night Football was this evening. The Green Bay Packers went out to Las Vegas to face the Raiders, and they fell a little short, losing 13-17. I got Ren on the comm links here. Ren, the Packers had a lot of lows, a couple highs, but it didn't even out in the end, obviously. Still some offensive issues going on. There's a couple silver linings here that we can point out, but generally speaking, it was disappointing because they were in this ball game for most of it, even up until the end. But a few mistakes really kind of capped this thing for the Packers. Interceptions, namely, and just at the inopportune time, they were the first ones to make the mistake, and they kept doing it, even though they got their chances a little bit from Jimmy. Jimmy gave them a couple. They just couldn't come up with it. So there's a lot of definitely question marks here going into the long bye week. They've got still more things to iron out. Now, did this running game of the Raiders kind of dominate things? No, but I guess when they covered up one problem, another problem seem to rise up for the Packers. But Ren, we're coming off this loss, 13-17. Let me know what your first takeaway was.
Yeah, Tay, that was the Packers went up to Vegas, and I was betting on a win. But sometimes, the house wins, Tay, and it was not a friendly house for the Packers tonight. You know what? I think the Matt LaFleur offense and the Jordan Love-led offense was not a recipe for winning a hand in Vegas at all. It was pretty bad throughout today. I got to say, the play calling on the first side was left a lot to be desired. We did see, a glimpse of A.J. Dillon on one drive, certainly took over one, led to a touchdown. That was pretty great to watch. He ended with, I think 17 for 72 yards on the night. So we saw a little from A.J. Dillon, which that was nice. But when the Packers had opportunities to potentially, get this thing out in front of them, a la, hey, the big play with Christian Watson in the third quarter, getting down with the unfortunate horse collar, down with first and goal at the 4 or 5 yard line. And Matt LaFleur seems to think two A.J. Dillon runs up the A or B gap are going to work. I'm not quite sure why you're not overloading, running a bootleg to the right or left, frankly, on all three downs to see what happens. I will say the defense today played pretty well. They bottled up that running game. This is a get-right game for one of the two teams. And the get-right team certainly was the Raiders. I watched this game today, and I saw two really bad football teams. I got to be honest. Neither were good. This is just bad football when you're watching two teams that clearly aren't ready for prime time, even though they're playing it. Jacoby Myers was all over the field for the Raiders. Max Crosby was living up to his billing a lot of the game, causing Jordan to get flustered. But let's be honest, Tay, they got a couple weeks off now. It's going to get loud, unfortunately. I don't think it's going to be fair yet. But a lot of people are going to be wondering if Jordan's the guy, because he tonight did not look like the guy at all. It was just, I think really this game falls on the shoulders of Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love and the offense. They didn't take advantage of a bad football team and beat them. And frankly, at times it seemed like the Raiders were giving them every opportunity to do so much so that it went down to, within a minute, and the Packers just couldn't make it happen and couldn't hit those reads over the middle to continue to move the ball downfield. And listen, they could have easily walked it off on the Raiders, and they didn't. I saw weird things, like at one time you've got Preston Smith dropping on Devontae Adams. Not sure, again, where that call is with the defense or how that's working. But I will not give it to Joe Barry, but the defense certainly did enough to allow the offense to win this football game. It's going to be, a tough 2 weeks to listen to this going into Denver. It's a game they really should have won. But should they have? I don't know. I mean, they just look like a pretty listless team playing against another pretty listless team, and somebody had to win it. And this one went to the home team.
Yeah, Ren, I totally agree. These were two not great teams. When they were pitted against each other, the best team, obviously the home team, won. One of the bright spots was A.J. Dillon and his actual productivity this game against the Raiders defense. Matt LaFleur kind of trusted A.J. to finish the drives or give him, the ball consecutively, which actually seemed to work, oddly enough. And I guess that's a bright side to this. You saw Patrick Taylor in there a few times, and that didn't really work out. But AJ was the featured back, and I guess it wasn't like a outstanding performance, but it was a definite, a passing grade for AJ tonight. That blocked field goal was pretty huge. That kind of stopped the Raiders' momentum and going into the locker room at halftime. But again, they were in this game until late in the game, and you just kind of like watched the Packers fizzle out, run out of gas, however you want to put it. But the offense just limped along again today, and there's just no good progress yet for the offense. And I know you were hard on Jordan Love a minute ago. Yeah, I guess I gotta either watch this again or I know some of those interceptions. At least the first one was totally his fault. The other ones, tip balls, that sort of thing into the coverage. But some of this is just this whole offense. The pass protection stunk. Jordan's decision making kind of stunk, and some of those passes to Watson, I feel a little bit it's on him too. He wasn't getting in there and making a play for the ball as you expect a wide receiver one to do. I mean, maybe is this because he's been out for a long time and not working with Jordan and the rest of the crew, or is this just kind of like this is what he does? Like he has to be wide open to get a ball. So I don't know exactly what the deal is with that, but I kind of blame the whole offense as a whole here, including Matt LaFleur for really just awful play calling from time to time. Just that's why they didn't do anything in certain points of this game is because of the play calling. So I think it's a collective loss here on the offense. I don't point fingers at Jordan Love and saying, we have to wonder yet if it's him. We got to play this whole year out. I don't think this is enough to start worrying about the quarterback position. This whole team, it has question marks all over it. So I think it doesn't. I think it would be remiss to just point the finger at him. So I guess that's my a little bit. There's a couple good things here in this game, but mostly bad. And we'll have a long bye week here to discuss these things, Ren.
Yeah, no doubt, Tay. And I'm not trying to say Jordan's not it or is it, but certainly with the 2 weeks off and a lot of time for a lot of people to talk about it, that's going to be the talking point. That's what people are going to have to go off of with the 3 interception performance, a lot of misses. I think LaFleur has a lot to do with the just very uncreative, not getting guys open and quick read offense. Again, pretty questionable play calls on that 1st and goal, that series where they don't get in. It's a tough thing to watch. And who would have thought 5 weeks into it, we get the Carlson Bowl in Vegas, and the only consistent part of the Green Bay Packers through 5 games today has been Anders Carlson.
Yeah.
He's been great. And, we guess can maybe think at this point, maybe they did get the kicker piece right, but that's about all I can take out of the first 5 games going to the bye.
One quick note I have to mention, it seems like the Packers really concentrated on shutting Devontae Adams down, and they did that. So congratulations, Packers, for shutting them down. Although that you mentioned it, Preston Smith on DA was horrible decision making. I think maybe the Fire Joe Barry crowd could definitely hang their hat on that one. But so DA was shut down pretty much the whole game. But my boy, Dobbs, where was he? He had like one catch, maybe two catches, and he was non-existent too. So I don't know if they really targeted that, and they kind of like, hey, let's see what you got with Watson here. So I don't know if that was a conscious effort by the Raiders or just a really bad execution of the play calls and getting Romeo Dobbs involved here. But that was kind of atrocious in my mind. Ren, that's all I got. And we appreciate you guys listening. Go follow us for our regular podcast that comes out during the week, Packer Universe Podcast. Ren, I'll give you the last word.
There really isn't, Tay. It's like I said, I watched both, wanted to give the other one an opportunity to win at a lot of turns, and one had to win, and unfortunately it was not the Green Bay Packers here in Week 5 in a game that I think they're going to look back at and wonder why they couldn't get that W in Las Vegas.
All right, thanks, guys, and have a great evening, Universe.